Everyone knows what an internet troll is. But there are groups online, hundreds of thousands deep, called online mob harassers, who bombard your Facebook feed with
scumbag commie cunt, you'd best be used as AR-15 target practice. Narcissist, I wouldn't even rape you. Cunt, you are the downfall of humanity. Hey baby, damn, I want to mix race with you.
What a piece of shit
Maybe
you
it's
are.
true. You
don't
need
want
to be
people
enslaved.
talking about
makeup,
sex,
you behind our back,
design
jewelry,
work out.
You do this, talk about you. I'm currently the target of an online mob.
But why would people be so mean to each other on the internet? First, we need to see where this all started. Online internet mobs have
always been around since the beginnings of the internet, really.
Andy Campbell is a senior reporter at HuffPost,
Covering crime, harassment, and extremism.
That's a badass title. What makes online mobs so dangerous is that
they can dox you, they can SWAT you, they can send police to your house, they can come to your house, they can call your friends, they can call your employers.
It's relentless harassment that can ruin a victim's life. To understand how these online mobs start, first we have to look at how they start offline.
There are similarities and differences between collective behaviour face-to-face in crowds on the streets and collective behaviour online.
This is Dr. John Drury, a social psychologist. He studies how and why people riot. Drury says that real-life riots often start as peaceful protests, but when a crowd faces persecution, they feel empowered by their shared ideology and often resort to violence. When the rioters are a group of anonymous internet trolls, something changes.
What being anonymous in an online troll mob gives you is the ability to enact a cruel ideology.
For example, anti-feminists will often threaten women with sexual violence.
Gamergate is a really good historic example of how online harassment starts and who it targets.
Meet Carrie Goldberg.
I own a victims' rights law firm in Brooklyn.
Her clients are targets of harassment, blackmail, and sexual assault. In other words,
We basically make life miserable for perverts, psychos, trolls, and assholes.
Carrie says the tone of much of today's current internet mob harassment began with Gamergate.
It started with a jilted ex who was trying to get revenge on his girlfriend.
Her name was Zoe Quinn, and she was a video games developer advocating for fair gender representation in the industry.
She was hacked, her naked pictures were put online, all of her personal information, her family's information.
Memes showing her in sexual situations, threats against her life.
And although that was 4 years ago, Gamergate-style online harassment continues today. In 2016, the Gamergate mob found the perfect figurehead for their ideology when a businessman from New York City announced,
I am officially running for President of the United States, and we are going to make our country great again.
This led to a proliferation of online groups like
This Facebook group of trolls called Emperor Trump's Dank Meme Stash.
which isn't really about Trump at all.
It's really just an amalgamation of a whole bunch of trolls who can do something like take my colleague's name and photos and post them online and then talk about it.
I'm Jess. I'm a reporter at HuffPost. I cover world news and online misogyny.
Remember her Facebook feed? Emperor Trump's dank meme stash harassed Jesslyn earlier this year, using the same language and tactics deployed at Gamergate.
There are over 700 comments on my status right now. My aunts and uncles have read about men wanting to rape me. My dad has read that. That's probably been the most difficult part.
Surely you could just ask Facebook to get this vile stuff removed.
I did ask Facebook. They essentially told me there was nothing they could do. I wrote an article about the experience. I reached out to Facebook for a comment, and that triggered them to actually pull down the group, even though I'd been trying to get them to do that for about 2 months.
Oh good, it all worked out.
The former members of Emperor Trump's Dank Meme Stash realized that I was the reason their page was taken down, and I got 10 times the harassment I was getting before. Fucking bitch who got a page removed because her ego is attacked. When you have no self-esteem, you are supposed to take your life, not a meme page. The group that was harassing me came down and 2 more popped up. I have my own hate group on Facebook now.
And while these trolls often claim they have the right to freedom of speech,
Anybody who says that they have the First Amendment right to harass is simply ignorant of the law. Harassment is a crime in all of our states. It's a course of conduct. When it's a private company and not the government that's dictating speech, it's not a First Amendment issue. Those companies can censor as much as they want. They're private companies, and they do censor all the time. I mean, for instance, Twitter, has a limit for how many characters we can have in a tweet. That's actually a kind of censorship. These companies need to actually be banning the users and flagging the accounts that are repeatedly harassing other people.
Because you can't just send police into the bedrooms of hundreds of thousands of online trolls.
You've got 4chan, you've got Reddit, you've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, any number of platforms, they're sitting there and being allowed to thrive.
So is there something to be learned from how real-life riots end if they start in similar ways?
The short answer to why riots end is very often people run out of energy. That's not a very interesting answer.
And that's the big difference between riots in real life and online. The online mob doesn't get tired. Instead, the victims do.
It's really exhausting. My boyfriend's tired of this. My parents are getting tired of this. I'm tired. I don't know when it will actually end.
But according to Carrie Goldberg, there's still hope.
Online harassment can be stopped. Okay, we just have to be more creative about it.
And that begins with treating online harassment like any other crime.
We have to not accept it on our platforms, and we have to start banding together and demanding that our platforms take action and that law enforcement take action as well.